somewhere deep in my heart. It's just too hard to hide. I can't get over you. I try to lose myself in song, but the tides are much too strong. What am I gonna do? I can't get over you. It makes me feel so bad.
Hello, family. How y'all doing today? It's Haywood Barber on the Haywood Barber Show, also known as the Harlem Heretic. That's our boy there, Frankie Beverly, bringing it to us live. Just can't get over you. And a lot of times we have that kind of a situation in our life. That we just got somebody that we just can't get over. And I'm here to tell you, you just take a little time. Trust me, I know. I've been there. I'm there now. You know, but sometimes we have to part ways with situations that just don't work. Situations that are not harmonious to the life that we're trying to live or live in. So, I mean, we have to be conscious and careful of the people that we let in our life, in our circle, because, you know, sometimes it's just not the right flow. And I mean, life, I'm starting to learn as I stumble upon 50, and it blows my mind. It blows my mind that I can be 50 and feel the way I feel. Even, and I have to say it, the way I look doesn't look like what I thought a 50-year-old would look like. And I contribute that to a bunch of things, and you, as you get to know me and listen to this show, you know what I contribute that to. A lot of exercise while I'm working, a lot of exercise of my mind and my mentals, and a lot of strong belief in what Father God gives me in order to proceed with what I think is harmonious in my life. And the purpose of this show, there's probably a few different reasons that I have in my mind that I'm doing this show. I mean, more than anything, it's to serve. It's to give back, because I've been given so much. So I want to share. But the number one thing that I know that I want to give to you every time you come to this show is to tell you I love you. You can come here and be assured, as I do my 30-minute shows, and I'm going to raise that to an hour show and possibly start doing 2-hour shows as I get my feet wet and get my sea legs going, and I'm having such a good time, and I'm getting such a dynamic response, and I'm gonna improve on sound and my presentation in the whole 9 yards, and try and make it as entertaining as I possibly can. But at the same time, more than that, is to give you something that you can walk away with that's good for you, good for your family. But I want to always make sure, and feel free to send me an email at haywoodbarberjr@hotmail, right? Or harlemheretic@yahoo.com. Both of those are obvious, .com. I don't want to say obviously. But I wanted you to know that I love you, and I do care about you. And look, I know that I get a lot of sisters on my show, but I'm starting to get more and more brothers, young sisters, and I want you to know that I love you and I care about you. There's a man out here that cares about you. And nothing about the fact that I love you is sexual. Not at all. Because I don't know you like that. And then before I ever slow down to get intimate with a person, I have to know you. And I think that that's something that each and every one of us needs to know, that if you're going to get intimate with anyone, you should know them. You should know them very well. You should be able to predict the very next move that they're going to make if you give them some of your precious body. And if you listen to the show, you know that I believe in a serious way, heart, body, and soul. And when I talk about the soul, we talk about my mental state, your mental state, you being, on your A game in your mental state. So, I mean, as I bring the show to you tonight with Frankie Beverly, talking about how much he missed somebody and he just don't know how he's going to get over you, you might be in that state, or you know somebody in that state, but let them know, let time pass before you run yourself back into that situation, because you're lonely. And now look, I'm speaking to you not from a place of I learned it in a book, or I was taught it from one of my mentors, or I learned from one of my students. That's not what's going on. I'm telling you this from my own experience, that it's tough when you love somebody and you miss them, and you can only believe that that's the only person for you, but they are nowhere to be found. And you even know in your heart and in your soul, it is better to let them go for the sake of your flow. God is even whispering to us in a lot of occasions. And there are some occasions when Father God yells at us. But there's so much clutter in our brains and in our hearts and in our soul that we can't hear his screams. Sometimes it's a faint because he's screaming, but because of the clutter, we only can hear his whisper and a nudge. And I'm here to even tell you that sometimes it makes sense to just slow down. And even take this thing all the way down to an absolute crawl. Pause. Period. And listen to your heart and your soul. And let God resonate in you. Because I know most of my listeners at some level have a spirituality. And that spirituality is attached to God. Now, how you decide to divide yourself from that point, that's none of my business. But I want you to know that God loves you. I love you. He told me to do this show and keep one main thing in mind. That the listeners that I acquire, sometimes one by a week, one by a day. And there have been occasions when I've started this now for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, consistently I'm saying, that I'm getting a listener only once, in the beginning, once every 2 weeks or so. And that's okay for me because I'm on a 5-year project to share, number one, my love. Then share my knowledge. Share what I learned about God and what he wants to part to you. And I'm not a preacher. I thought at one time that maybe that was a way that I wanted to go, but that was the way I wanted to go. Not the way that I've learned that maybe God didn't want me to go. So if it doesn't become a calling, I'm not going to do it. But I want you to always know, and I want you to tell, I'm a firm believer in each one teach one. I grew up in Harlem, Spanish Harlem, New York. And there was a program, I'm not sure if it was through the Police Athletic League, PAL, or not, but it was something. But it resonated till this day. I'm almost 50, which again I can't believe. But it was each one teach one. So bring people back to this show, which I'm going to try my very best to do every single weekday around 8:30, 9 o'clock. And my primary piece is to let you know that you are loved. And I'm going to say that I'm sending you my love, even though I don't know you. But I want you to understand that love doesn't have to be a sexual love. Love is sexual. But I don't want you to feel that you have to hear somebody that truly and genuinely has a love for you, that they have to be ready to touch you and lay down. And I'm always compelled to tell the story of a spiritual brother. He was a Muslim, and he told me when I was young, and it's so true. It rang true, and it became a part of my reality. Right? That if you don't rock, that's what he said. If you don't rock your daughter on your knee, there's gonna be a fella that's gonna rock her on his knee. Now that became a very strong and prevalent reality for me, and I fell down on my job. And I guess a big part of this show and how I present it will be a great deal of my failures. I've had a tremendous amount of successes, and as you know now, I've always been a sickle cell patient, and I'm retired. I had to actually go out on the government's program because of my illness, and they didn't even blink when I came to them. I didn't even think that even made any sense, that a guy like me that's always been a get up and go guy can make initiatives on my own, didn't have it to sit there and wait for somebody to tell me what to do, even when I was 15, 14, 16, 17, even 12 years old. Never had to rely on anybody to tell me what to do, how to do it, and how to flow in order for me to make my way. Never did. And as much as I love my parents, they were not the kind of parents that always say, you going to go to college, which I know that our counterparts, their parents simply, there's not even a question about college. For me, there was a question, but I managed to go to college immediately after high school. But again, one of the foundations of this show is going to be about my failures, so that you can learn from them, so that perhaps that you can move from them and you can flow without having to fall into the ditches that I fell into, or even because I know a lot of people took a great deal of interest in me as a young fella in high school, the jobs I had and everything. And I disappointed a lot of people. But that's life. But I don't wallow in that. And I don't want you to wallow in it. What I say to you, that if I touch upon something that you are going through and it's a mistake that I made, use it as a place that you might be about to go into, and then you only have to make it a shallow failure. You don't have to make it a deep failure. And I know that especially the teenagers, and I'm talking to the teenagers, I'm talking to the mamas, and I'm talking to the single fathers, single mothers, and the teenagers. If they bring you to this show, if you are fortunate enough to hear this show, this is somebody that was told that I was not going to make it. I had a learning disorder. And if I believed in what they were saying, I would have been a complete dunce in my life. And I know now that people learn different ways. Some people are auditory learners. They learn from hearing. And some people from sight, visual learners. Some people are great readers. Some people learn by doing. So don't give yourself a check out pass just because you're not a great reader. And I do believe that readers are leaders. And I'm a reader, but I'm a very slow reader. And if your aunt, uncle, mother, father brought you to hear what I'm saying right just this minute, just this second, don't feel rejected or dejected because you are not what they say you should be. And I'm talking about now the school system saying that you're not going to be anything, you too slow, you don't read well enough. And you know, whether you getting high or whatever in school and you don't see your way and making it through, I'm here to tell you that you can. You might have to just slow down on the smoke for a little bit in order to make your way, but you can read. And if you can't read at all, you can learn. Just like anything is learnable. However, we have to put our time in order to get it there. This is not where I was going for tonight's show at all. I'm going to have to do a part 2, change the name, and keep going. But I want you to know, if you're a teenager, if you're a mother, even if you're a single mother with plenty of babies, and if you're a single father with plenty of babies, and you're a single mother that have had multiple fathers and they just didn't get you, and you maybe have thought, or you bought their line. And I can tell you, because I have a book that I'm working on called He's Lying, and it's a vicious book on the stories that I have told. And I can't even begin to tell you the amount of babies that I've gotten rid of with women that they no reason for them to have slept with me. But I'm just being honest right now. Right now I'm kind of like free flowing, completely off of my agenda. But my heart, God gave me this song that I played for you. He gave that song to me, and just to roll with, right? Because this show is more about sharing and giving and chipping off my heart to give to anybody that will listen a piece of. If it will help you, if it will help somebody that you know, even if you might feel that it is something that is real in your soul, but you're in denial, I say get off of that island. Get off of that river. And have a heart-to-heart with yourself. And I'm serious. Because, look, me and my best friend, I have a best friend in my entire life. I got 3 guys that I call my front line, right? I counsel with them no matter what the situation is. But my best friend in the entire world, Lamont Scott, we grew up, we've been together since, I say 2, he say 3, and we both turning 50 10 days apart from each other, right? And we used to have this little game that we used to play with, let me have some of your drink. And sometimes we be funning with each other and we drink it all, and then we hand them the bottle. I hand him the bottle, or he hand me the bottle. I don't know who started, where the chicken or the egg came first. I don't know who started. Was it him or was it me? But we would always give the bottle, and I would look at him and say, what the hell is this? He said, yo, there's always some left in the bottle. So I'm saying that to you, and me and him have taken that one statement, that there's always some left, because there's always some of you that is left that can grow a rose, a tree, an acorn. I mean, and if you've ever seen an acorn tree, it's massive. I mean, the trunk can be the size where you can put a car through it. I've seen them make tunnels through acorn trees, and the seed is almost nothing in comparison to what it grows. And what I'm saying to you in that, just that little statement about me and my man, that there's always some left in you, and from that little bit left, no matter how much you've been beat down, I don't care how much you've been beat down, and I don't care where this beat down has come from. I don't care if it's come from your mother, your father, your aunts, your uncle, your grandmother, grandfather, your pastor. I don't care if the abuse whether it be verbal, physical, sexual, mental, whatever it has been, there's enough left in you to be bigger than an acorn tree. Because I can hear you now. Why? And I know that a lot of my young brothers and my young sisters, and some of the sisters and brothers my age, a little bit younger or even older, have been through just massive things. People have stomped on you. They've taken your essence from you. But I want you to know that you can resurrect from there. God gives that to you. He left examples of that. And you can still win. You can be a massive, massive winner with any and every disability, every beatdown you've ever had, every single thing. And when I say this, I know for some reason I should be talking to my young sisters, but I'm even talking to my younger sisters and my younger brothers. Because I know that right now we got a serious situation with bullying. And I've been the victim of bullying. And then I turned that around and learned some techniques how to get out of bullying. And then I was the protector for the bullied. And that's possible for you. And sometimes we got to step outside of ourselves. And that's true. We got to step outside of ourselves and take care of others. Bring us back to each one teach one. Each one protect one. Be our brother's keeper, sister's keeper. And sometimes, so take it outside of yourself and it being about you and let it be about somebody else. And then you get protected within that. And I don't want to discount. I don't want to discount what you may have gone through or may be going through, because I know it's big. But I want to know, no matter how big your hurt is, God, whether you believe in him now or not, has a path for you. You, stop it. I'm talking to you. Very serious too. About a direction that you can go in, and it doesn't have to be giant leaps, giant steps. Sometimes in our life, as I said earlier, pause, slow it down to a crawl, and learn how to flow slow. Right? The name of this show is Flow. Boom. And sometimes it just needs to just be a flow, a rhythm that you get into, and listen for the whispers that God is sending you. There's an answer to whatever your dilemma is. And look, and I've said this earlier, God might be screaming at you, but because of all the clutter, the things that have happened, all of the noise, the things that are happening, and the things that are happening to the people you love and care for, you might not see a way. But I assure you, if you are a thinking person, whether you get high or not, God will lead a path. There was a time when I used to smoke pot. As a matter of fact, I was never a fan of smoking pot, but I grew up in an environment where pot was very, very serious, very, very prevalent. We all got high, and we all got high every day. We got high before we went to school. We got high while we were in school. We got high when we were leaving school. Everything was just a get high. As a matter of fact, a friend of ours, his name was Stay High. I'm surprised nobody ever got named Get High. But I guess because that was just all of us. So we thought that that was the deal. I thought it was the deal, and that's just the environment we grew in. Of course, it led us into cocaine and drinking and all that other kind of nonsense, and that seemed to be the paramount behavior, or that tend to be the behavior that we all dealt with. And I had to go through, even with my best friend I just mentioned, after I came out, I had to help him out, and then later on, he helped me out. But that's, again, back to each one teach one. So I don't know if I should change it from the show from being flow to each one teach one in flow. Because we have to be able to protect each other and look out for each other. And then the roles reverse. And it's all right. I I mean, I don't know how to bring it to you anymore. I mean, I only have 30 minutes, and I don't know your situation, but your situation is the biggest situation. I know that, I know, because that's how it felt for me, that nobody could understand what was going on with me. And for my sisters out there, and you have babies, and you don't know how you just got to this place, whether you having the baby or you having your second baby or your third baby, and or the single fathers that wind up with the babies, and you doing your thing. My hat is off, and I literally am taking my hat off to you, and I honor you because you are a winner, no matter what it seems. But I need you to think of yourself better than what you believe your situation has been up to this point, up to you hearing what I'm saying. Because see, it makes for the better child that you have if you believe better, if you know better. And you can have the child that can change the entire world, this country, or maybe just a city, maybe just a neighborhood, maybe just a block, maybe just your building, or maybe just another you. I want you to think tonight in prayer. If you believe in prayer, and if you don't believe in prayer, still pray. Pray. Just like when most people that don't believe in God, they get into a situation, they say, oh God, help me. Jesus, bring me in. Allah, Muhammad, take me and make me into a better individual. And I assure you, that prayer alone, just those words, in any kind of shape or form, however you say it, however you feel to say it, will make you into a better individual in the very second that you make it. And things will begin to get better. But you gotta slow down. Don't pray and then go make your own moves. And how am I telling you that? I know why I'm telling you that. Because see, I was that person. Pray, and then I take out my own toolbox. So this is your boy Hayward Barber, the Hayward Barber Show, the Harlem Heretic, bringing it to you. Slow it down on this.
Someone better's gonna love you. Someone's gonna wrong you.
I love you. I love you.
WFXC.
So that's Hayward Barber bringing it to you with all the love. That's my WXAEZ. So you feel free to go with me, and there I do love you.